this mess, you may ask? Well, it's two motors out of an furnace that we need to take a look at. The person said the furnace quit working. It made a horrible humming noise when it first started up, and just like it was gonna shake the house down or whatever. And then the furnace just never actually started and produced any heat or anything. So I'm the go-to person for this particular landlord. I fix all their equipment when it breaks down, and so I went over and took a look at it, and this is what some of the stuff I come up with. So this is the draft inducer motor, and this is the blower motor. I'll put up a picture here of this whole unit here, because I only have the front part of this unit, so this way you can see exactly what I'm talking about when I'm referring to this here. I only took the front half of this. This is usually sealed with some silicone seal, and then there's a fan blade on the inside. And the reason I took this apart is because this is what was making the whole system hum really loud and just vibrate really bad. I mean, it vibrates so much, it's like this motor was about ready to fall right off the thing, you know. And it's held on there by 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and it was still just shaking really bad. But if I can get this right, let's say right about here, I'll show you why it was shaking real bad. If you watch right here, if you watch this gap right here, this will show you why it was shaking really bad. You see that? That should not be doing that. See that wobbling back and forth like that in there? This motor spins really super fast, and with that wobbling like that, it's vibrating the whole system because it's throwing it out of balance. So that is one cause to why it will just sound like your furnace is about ready to take off or something like that. So if you hear something really weird going on there, and you can see this if you take this particular unit apart at one end, if you want to save some money, if you're able to do this kind of stuff or not. These things usually have, and if you look at the picture again, they usually have an input and an output, or it's not an input and an output, but one side of it will be hooked up and the other side won't be. And if you can look inside one of the holes and with a mirror or something in there, and then you can spin this, have a little flashlight to shine in the hole, and then you can see this blade spinning in there. And if you can see this blade and it's going like that, wobbling like that, I must have got it to where it's even broke even more. If you see the blade and it's wobbling like that, then you know that piece needs to be replaced. Now you can replace this whole thing, and it depends on your furnace, how much it's going to cost. It can be a couple $100, $1,000, close to it, but it can be expensive. This particular one, we can buy just this piece for $50 or so. And you can see right here, you can see where it's kind of rusted looking right there. That's actually cracked. So yeah, that's just, it's cracked all the way around there, so that's why that one's junk. So we'll be replacing that. We already have it on order, so when that comes in, we'll get that replaced, and that'll solve the problem with this. So set that aside. Our next problem was the blower motor. When this was trying to turn on, I noticed that this motor turned the, what you call the squirrel cage, let's say, what sometimes people refer to. It's the blower motor. It's the big fan in the bottom of the furnace that blows all the air out through your ductwork and into your home. This fan turned, and then all of a sudden it just slowed down to a stop. And I was looking at it kind of strange, and so I stuck my hand in there and I touched the fan, and it was just stuck. It wasn't moving. So I killed the switch on the whole furnace and shut the power off on it, so there was no power going to the furnace at all anymore. And then I went to turn the fan in there, and I still couldn't turn it. So that led me to believe that there's something wrong with this, or the fan, the blower fan itself was maybe wedged in there, because sometimes you know, if this screw that mounts onto here with the big fan that goes on here, maybe for some reason got loose or out of shape, and it's rubbing up against the side, but it wasn't. So I took the whole thing out of the furnace and I spun it, and it spun fine. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So long story short, here it sits on the bench. Now you can probably see it if I line that up perfect, the shaft up perfect with the camera there. This is what I see. That's a lot of play. I don't know, I don't think I've seen a motor with that much play, so I'm thinking the bearings might be wearing out on it. We're going to take a look at it and see if there's something we can do about this. See if maybe we can tighten this up somehow. You can still get the motor for this, replacement motor, but I want to see if I can maybe tighten this up somehow. So we'll have to take these caps here off, maybe the one on the back, or take this whole thing apart and see what's going on there. This still works because I did fire it up to make sure that all three coils work, and I will show you that. I have an extension cord over here, or my little power strip over here. I'm just setting it up here for you so you can see what's going on here. My white, which is my neutral, my black, which is my hot, and I'm just clipping it together with the clip leads here. Don't want that touching on the motor there. These are just going to sit there, and I got my power strip over here that I'm going to click on and off. And here's the white one is the neutral, and then we have these three, which is our red is our low, blue is our medium, and black is our high. We have our starter capacitor to help our motor fire up, and this ground we just not going to connect because that connects to the casing or whatever. We're not going to worry about that. So I'm going to turn on the AC. Put that over there. Okay, our AC's on. Now, another thing to notice is listen to when I touch the low. It does it on all of them, But listen to the sound that the motor makes when I touch this, and that indicates that there's a problem with the motor here. So you'll be able to hear it. You hear that snap sound? To me, that's the shaft snapping up against the side. That's just, sorry about that. That was an annoying. Your car insurance is expired, or your car warranty has expired. Usually my phone doesn't let those come through, but anyway, back to what we were talking about. So when this turns on, this thing slaps so hard up against the side, it's making that kind of a noise. Okay, when it starts. Hear that? So it's loose bearings, and we got to see if we can fix that. But all three of these work. I'll show you. Here's low. Doesn't sound bad. Seems like it works pretty good. Okay, here goes medium. Seems like it works pretty good. A little noisier because, you know, I'm on a table here. And this will be a little bit noisier because this is high, and because I'm on a woodish / metal table. Oh, I guess that's high. Oh wait. Oh, I got my wires mixed up. So this was medium. So that's pretty good, right? Works. Here's high. That's the noisy one. So they all work. So all three work. So the motor's still good, but when it's on its side, I'm going to turn the power off, so nothing gets zapped, or me especially. So when the motor's on its side like this, and the cage is mounted on there, for some reason it must not like it, like the weight of it on this shaft or something, and the bearings being that loose, and that must be why it stopped and I couldn't move it. And you'll also notice that when I turn this, see how quick it stops? So this thing should spin for a little bit, you know, more than just one turn like it is. So it looks like it needs some oil, needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I blew it out and everything, but it looks like it needs some oil on the bearings. So hopefully we can do that too when we take this off here. So we're going to take this apart, see if we can fix it up a little bit, and get it back to working. That's our project. So let's go ahead and get at it. I'm going to clean this all up. I won't bore you with the video on that, and I'll get back to you when I get ready to, if I find anything wrong, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'm going to clean it all up and try to put it back together and see if I was able to get this thing tightened up to where that shaft doesn't move around too much. I'll let you know what I did and all that, blah blah blah. So we'll see you in a bit. This picture doesn't look too good. Those look right. Oops. Dropped a screw. These look right. If you can look at those along here. And then you get to these right here. See how crooked all these are? And some of them, like these right here, are even hitting the stack next to them. doesn't look good. And those right there, those are hitting the stack right next to them. That doesn't look good. I'm sure we could probably straighten those out. I'll try to do that, see what happens. So that's one thing I noticed on here. And that is from, I'm pretty sure that's from the motor wobbling all in there, from the shaft getting all sloppy. Let me zoom back out here. Oops. Get out here somewhere. Change my glasses too. From this here being all wiggly in there, as I was looking at this one, and our shaft here, I know I got this light on over here, that might not be helping right now. You can see where the shaft right here goes in the bearing part down there. If I put this on the right way, this goes on like this, and it goes all the way down there like that. So, and if you look at this, I don't know how well I can do this, but shaking the shaft this way and this way. Okay, there's not really no play at all, but I'm going to go back and forth this way, and I can exaggerate it, but you can hear it move back and forth. But moving it the other way, there's like hardly nothing at all. It's hard to show it on the camera, but there's a lot of play this way, going this way. So that is definitely wore out on the shaft, because even if I raise it up so it's out of that spot right there, and so it's on a new part of the shaft, I'm just wiggling the shaft back and forth. That's that way, and that moves quite a bit. But now I'm trying to go this way, and there's hardly nothing at all. It's like a brand new bearing that way. So this piece right here is also wore out, this little bushing in here. So there's quite a couple things wrong with this motor, and so I don't know if we're going to end up using this or if we're going to replace it. I'm thinking we're going to have the same problem with the worn out bushing and the worn out shaft right here. So it would make sense to buy a new one. I'm going to have to bring that up to the owner and see what they want to do about it. Otherwise, this is one of those things to where it has the material inside here, and you just look up. I'll get back with you. Sorry for that break. Unexpected visitor. Get back to what I was saying. This is an old motor because to oil these things, this has the material in there, kind of like the old fan, the old 50s, I think, fan it was, that's 50 years old or whatever, one of my videos I did a long time ago. you put oil in this material that's in here, and the oil soaks all up in it and everything, and that's what keeps the keeps it lubed in here. And I'll take a picture of this one here. I think it is. You can see it good. There's actually even a little hole where the material sticks through on the bushing. You can barely see it right here, but I'll get a better picture up there. And the material there rubs up against the shaft that goes in there, and it applies the oil that when the shaft spins, it keeps it lubed up there. But yeah, during that little break there, I also looked up what it cost for this, to replace this, because of the bad bushings, the bad shaft, and our bad parts in here. And for a new exact replacement, it's cost $235 for this. So I talked to the owner, and they're going to go ahead. I ordered it for them. So we're going to pretty much toss this. We're not going to do anything with it. We'll take a look at the new one when it comes in. We'll replace the draft inductor, the draft inducer fan blade. I'll put that on right after this when the parts come in, which will be a day or two, and then we'll wrap this video up. Alright, so until then, we'll see you in the next scene. Well, I figured I'd throw this in there since we have to wait for the parts to come in. I went ahead and I took these things apart just in case you were curious on how this stuff was put together. So I tore these things apart just to kind of give you a little look inside. So what I had to do was I had to take this cap off and take this cap off, and this stuff came out of both of these, and it's like it's almost like I don't even know, styrofoam. Well, not really styrofoam, kind of like foam. I mean, if you smash it, it kind of stays because it's kind of got a little bit of oil still in it. But it was packed all in there, packed all inside here. So I took the back part off first, and these are pressed down there. So I just got something underneath there and just kind of popped it off, cleaned all that stuff out of there, and then did the same here. I stuck something down in here, and then I popped this inside one off, and that one came off like that. And then this little triangle doohickey thing here comes off, and then that's where I took out the rest of that stuff. And then here's the little piece that I was showing you that's in the hole down here that rubs up against the shaft in there, and the shaft rubs up against this spot, and that's what feeds the oil onto the shaft, so you can actually see all the way through there now. But that's kind of what that looks like. So pretty nifty, huh? But yeah, that's all there is to that. And if you want to change this bearing to replace it, like this one needs to be replaced, you can just put this on a press and then push this bearing out and put a new one in there. So it is fixable if you're the kind of person that goes all the way and does your own stuff. And I mean, that's the way I am. I could hang on to this motor if this part works. I went ahead and I straightened out those crooked ones in there. It just needs to be some new varnish or something poured on there to hold them in place. But so that turned out. But the only bad thing is the shaft. The shaft would have to be turned down a little bit, and then the new bushing that goes in this one would have to be just have a smaller ID in it, and then this would work fine again. But the customer, you know, doesn't have time for that, and I don't have a lathe, so I would have to have somebody else do that for me. But yeah, this one's the same way. Has the inside there, it's got the little triangle thingy, it's got the little oil brush type thingy. I think this is almost made out of the same stuff here, but I don't know. The only exception with this one, because this is the top part with the shaft comes through this one, it goes through there. This has a little rubber piece in here, and this serves the purpose of sealing tight on the shaft here to keep the oil, I'm assuming, from coming through and, you know, splashing around and getting, because this thing sits like this when it sits sideways. So with this piece all filled with oil and stuff like that, you don't want oil to be coming out, you know, splashing all over or dripping all over. So I'm assuming that's why they put this little rubber seal in here. So that's the purpose of that. So there you go. Just thought I'd throw that in there so you could have a quick look. And this is the bearing that would push out of there, because this one's the bad one. Because it's oblong now, it's just wore on two sides, and it's good on the other two. It's just thinner, you know. But there you go. That's what it looks like on the inside of them. Alright. Next thing we'll be looking at is putting the fan blade on the draft inducer. Alright. See you in the next shot. Well, look at this. We got both packages, even though we ordered them a day apart from each other. So let's go ahead and open the big one first, because we know that one's the fan blade. Get that thing open and make sure it's okay. Could have just shipped it in this box instead of putting it in the bigger box. But I don't know, I guess they feel they need to waste more material, I guess. They could have just stuck the sticker on here and shipped it just like this. Inducer wheel. Not a fan blade, it's a wheel. Huh. That looks like it's it. Get that junk out of the way. It's not warped or anything, it's flat. Here's our old one, here's our new one. Alright, this is an easy swap right here. This is this set screw here on the old one is an 1/8 inch Allen. I'm assuming that's the same, yep. 1/8 inch. This should be an easy swap. Just make sure it goes the same distance. Tight. I can see the new one's got some Loctite on there, some green Loctite on there, so that's good. Says it's 9 inches, the same as what the old one is, so that's good. Look at that, comes right off. Yeah, you can see all the cracks and everything in there. Yeah, that's what's making it vibrate. This thing's pretty old. This thing's just wiggling all over the place. That's why it was all wobbling like that when it was spinning around. So that one goes in the garbage. The new one goes on. And it'll go in the same place as the other one. Pretty much just sat right down where the other one was, so it stopped right where the other one was, so that's pretty good, because probably the groove in the groove where the screw was probably got a little burr on there, that's why it stopped. Nothing wrong with that, because that's where it's going to go anyway. So then we'll just tighten this up. Make it nice and snug without breaking it, I hope. Because that thing spins at a pretty good high speed. So now let's see what it looks like when we spin this one. See if it wobbles all over the place. Look at that. Can't complain about that. That wobbles nothing compared to what it was. With all those cracks in that other one, that thing, you seen how it wobbled, and if it wobbles, you know, it was wobbling a lot more if it was, you know, pulled out some more, because we were playing around with it. I was playing around with it, and it wobbled a whole bunch more, and you know, it would come out here, way out here to an inch maybe or something like that. But yeah, this is a good deal right here. So quick and easy fix. Now all we got to do is take this back over to the furnace, and I got some silicone sealant here that I'm going to put along this edge right here all the way around. I'll clean it all up first and everything, and I'll clean the mating part up, and I'll give you a picture right here to show you what the mating part looks like, because I won't be taking the camera over there. It's at a renter's house, and I didn't want to bring a camera in there or anything, set all that up. But yeah, I got a picture of it here, so I can show you that. And then put this baby together, let it sit for 24 hours, let the sealant cure fully. And then this should be good to go. Of course, we'll try it out and everything. But all right, enough of that nonsense. Let's look at the next one. Let's look at this here. This is the motor. So let's make sure this is all right. Should be. Regal Beloit motor return audit. Regal Beloit is the company that made this stuff, I guess. Even says it right on the side of the motor. And their main office, I think, is just right here in my town. Well, let's see how in the heck they got this in there. I'm assuming you lift it with this or something, or what? Let's see. I don't want it to fall apart as I'm trying to pull it out of this box. There we go. I'll get this thing. There we go. Voila. Nothing else in there. Nope, box is empty. All right. Old motor, all tore apart. New motor, all together. Same exact one. Same numbers on it. Same numbers on there. Everything's exactly the same. So we're in good shape. Get this junk out of the way over here. We can even test this baby out and see how it sounds. Wow. That's tough. I thought maybe it would be a little easier to spin, but because I know this old one here, you could spin it and it seemed like it would be looser, you know, but no, this one, you know how you could just spin it and it would kind of spin free, but no way. This baby don't have no free spinning to it at all there. I can't even, just like that, I can't spin it, but I gotta grab a hold of it like this and spin it. That's tough. Everything's the exact same thing, so we can use our existing capacitor for this baby. Let's see what happens. This is going to be low right here. Nothing. What's going on here? Says the capacitor is 7.5. That's what I got there. Everything is exactly the same, but it just sparks on there. But I don't know if you've seen that, but it was sparking. But and that capacitor read good because I had it. I tested it. Let's see what the medium brings us. Oh, there's the medium. Ready? Oh, let's see. But I'm trying to hang on to it. There we go. There's the medium. That's nice and quiet. No weird noises. See why we can't get this low. The low is having a tough time going. Medium's good though. Let's get this high going. There's the high. That looks pretty good. Might just need to get broke in to get that low going, because this thing's probably been sitting around for 20 years. Who knows? I don't know how old this furnace is. I don't remember looking at the. Don't remember seeing it on the furnace, but it's pretty stiff. So getting it to go on the low is pretty tough, and that might be a problem, and it might not. But we'll have to see. Maybe I might have to get some oil down in here, and I'm sure it's probably all lubed up, but before I put this all in the squirrel cage, which I have laying next to me, I think I'm going to run this for a little bit and make sure I can get this low to work before I throw it into the furnace, because I don't want to get it in there and then not have this low work. I know the low worked on the old one, but this old one was so loose that anything could get that thing to turn because it was so wore out. This new motor is tight, you know, so it just maybe needs some work. The oil might be dried up in there, so maybe I need to take this apart and get that refresh that oil in there. I'd like to see what it looks like, because you know, when oil just dries, it just turns to paste like. So, but that is about all I can show you on this for right now. Well, for good, I guess, because after this I'm going to put it back in the squirrel cage, and I'm going to get this furnace put back together tomorrow. I talked with the owner, and we're going to set up an appointment with the renter, and we're going to get this stuff put back together, get the furnace put back together, so then Sunday, the next day, we can give it a try and make sure everything works on it, which I have no doubt that it will, because it's getting cold out. Got to get this stuff working. So I hope this was helpful. So if you have any problems with your furnace, weird noises, weird humming noises that might be coming from your furnace, or the fan's not blowing or something, maybe this will give you an idea on what it could be. You never know. I want to add in here real quick before I actually shut this video down. I had after I got done closing this video, I took a little bit of just oil and I dripped some oil down the shaft so it went down around here, because remember the rubber seal that's down here, this rubber seal that I told you that's around this shaft down here, it's probably really dry, so I dropped some oil down in there and spun this around a little bit, and now I take my low and I put my power to it. Oh, that got hooked up to the capacitor. And now I put my power to it. Now it's on the low and it works just fine. So we're good. So now all three of them work. We got low, medium, and high. So it must have just been hanging up on the dried rubber, trying to spin around in there like that. So if you have come across anything like that, yep, just throw a little bit of oil down in there and that'll solve that problem. All right, see you on the next one.